Good afternoon. I'm joined by Cathy Sinclair of Green Lake, Saskatchewan. How you doing, Cathy?
I'm doing all right.
It's an honor to have you in the studio today. Thank you for joining me and doing this Cree interview. We can get started here with the questions, and again, thank you for coming to join us. All right, can you tell us, Cathy, what year you were born?
1955,
All right, and where were you born?
here in Green Lake.
Okay. Your parents' names and where were they born?
Alec and Matilda Sinclair, they were born in Green Lake.
Okay.
Okay, we grew up in a log house just out of Green Lake, and it's where I was born. Our great grandma was the midwife and delivered a lot of our siblings, my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And we were a family of 18.
Oh, wow.
We lost 3 boys at an early age.
Uh-huh.
And from there we moved to the steps, where they call the steps.
Mm-hmm.
And in the steps, Kadiwigiak, got the steps they call that good fishing spot.
Mm-hmm.
Back then it was a lot healthier. Life was a lot healthier than it is now, because we grew up with all wild meat and yeah, when we lived at the steps, how do you say that? The kapsisya ko kasi ko isinipi Toscanan pamais say kami to ya kakyo getoski gonan. That's chores, eh? Before we could go play, I said, pamais kandumi to ya kan getoski gonan, water natamak, all wood. And we all had chores like washing floors, and that's the thing, like Mom she had chores for every one of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like the boys haul wood and chop wood and all that, and the girls, they clean out the cupboards, and our house was always spotless. One for ironing and washing clothes, ironing, hanging clothes outside, and doing the floors. Another one for ironing.
Mm-hmm.
There was all kinds of work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hard, good chores and compared to today.
Compared to today, nobody does anything. They're always on their, should I say that?
Yeah.
they're on video games or out getting in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kayas kapsis ya ka pigih ko ya kan at the steps. Hoyes at tuski ungeanan before kan pamais kan domito ya the hot. My mom, mana hoyes, she had work for the boys. Kapito ka tatomi ta tas katemi to. Guapi itik. He was squeezed stuck. You can actually get ironing, washing floors,
Mm-hmm.
washing clothes, washing walls, all that kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we were done, actually when we come home from school, we'd have to take off our school clothes, put on our outside clothes,
Uh-huh.
and before everything, we do our chores, and then we're allowed to go play out. We had all kinds of games back then, and like hide and seek, cowboys and Indians, hopscotch, skipping rope. And families back then they had big families, so we would have ball teams to play against each other.
Yeah, well, with 18 siblings, you had your own football team or baseball team. Two of them. Could play a baseball game within your family.
Yeah, but everybody played along good.
Yeah.
With the families and yeah.
Yeah.
Back then, the children had a lot of respect for the elders, so they had a lot of respect for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We were brought up good. Nowadays, children don't have respect,
Mm-hmm.
and they do nothing but play games.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do anything. There's nothing like in this town. There's nothing to do. Like back then, we used to have horse races. We had there at the Ball Diamond,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd have baseball teams from out of town coming to play ball tournaments, and we had curling and winter, summer festivals.
I was gonna say that.
There was a lot going on back then.
Festivals and jamborees and all sorts of
all
stuff.
those, yeah, even them dancing, square dancing.
Square dancing.
Yes.
I heard this town used to just rock back in the
Yeah.
day, hey?
And look at it now; it's right dead.
Yeah, I think they need like a youth center for the kids at least.
Yes, there
with
is nothing for the
like
young kids nowadays.
hangout spot for them,
Yeah.
hey? They need to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Something to get them off their devices and out of the house and together
Yeah.
in a spot, hey? Take note that Mayor and Council. All right, tell us a bit of how it was to grow up then. Well, I guess you kind of just answered that, hey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back
So,
then people say it was hard back then, but I would say it's a lot harder now than it was back then.
why would you say that?
Well, look at everything that's happening. Like like even the way of living, the cost of everything is so high.
Mm-hmm.
Back then we didn't have power. We didn't have those bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had wood stoves, you had candles for lighting.
And gas lamps, oil lamps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nowadays
Your own chickens, your own cows,
your own milk, fresh
Eggs.
vegetables, fresh eggs, and all the wild meat and fish.
yes.
A lot healthier back then.
Yeah, now it's all processed food.
And I went this one time. I went and seen the old porter. They called him. He was a health food guy in Meadow Lake.
Uh-huh.
And he told me, he said, back then, he said I had this building built not on cement. He said, because just remember, he told me, he said, back then, all the kids used to play or walk bare feet outside. He said, Mother Earth is the healer.
It is.
Yeah.
And now we wear rubbers on our
And a lot of, everybody gets sick nowadays, and back then there was barely, you never really heard of a lot of sicknesses back then.
Yeah.
Because he told me that Mother Earth is the healer.
Well, because we never have our bare feet on the ground anymore.
Not anymore, no.
No, you're always on the
Yeah.
up in the vehicle, in the house, and in your shoes, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had heard that actually. There was a story about this guy who actually tied a steel wire from his bed frame down to the ground so that he can get that energy from the ground to his bed, and he slept better because of it. So
Yeah.
I like to take my shoes off or even just lay down on the grass just to feel that, to get that energy from our Mother Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. So what would any advice be to our future generations?
Well, the most important thing is their education
Mm-hmm.
and staying away from drugs and alcohol.
Mm.
These young people really need to get their education nowadays, because you're lost without it.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get jobs if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have an education?
Mm-hmm. An important lesson that we were just trying to teach my nephew is, he doesn't want to be listening to his dad and his stepmom but if, you know, they got to learn to listen now to their parents. It's not going to change once they're out on their own, because they're going to, in order to get the things they want in life, they're going to have to listen to their bosses now. And, you know,
Yeah.
and it carries on into the wife or whatever the case it may be. You're always going to be listening to somebody, right?
That's what I tell my grandchildren, that, you know, you can't be your own boss when you go out there and get a job. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't lose your temper and say things, or you'll lose your job right now. You have to learn to suck it up and do your job, and
Mm-hmm.
you
Be
can,
respectful.
It's not, and be respectful. It's not like you're at home, like, you know, where you can talk smart.
Exactly.
You want to keep a job, you just suck it up.
Exactly. And that's the thing that the kids need to learn these days.
That's for sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Cathy, for joining us in the studio today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you come back again soon.
Well, I'll think about it.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.